Good morning, everyone. I'm T3 Live Editor-in-Chief John Darsie.
And I'm Brittany Umar, and together we bring you part 2 of the morning call. We're going to go in the trenches with the solar stocks. Right after John tells us about the first edition of the new Off the Charts newsletter, which just came out last night. Exciting stuff.
So if you're a subscriber to the virtual trading floor or Off the Charts, you should have gotten the new Off the Charts newsletter last night, something that we've been hyping up for a couple weeks here, and we're really excited about the changes that we made to the newsletter. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you a look at last night's newsletter. It's better than me just telling you. As you can see, we got a little new header here, nice little design change. And then one of the big changes we made to the newsletter is adding this ideas table where previously we just shared charts and ideas. We didn't formally keep track of the ideas. Now we have a table where we keep track of when the idea was first listed on Off the Charts, the type of trade setup it was, entry price, stop level, target zone, next earnings report, average volume, and then we also think that it's very important when you're learning to trade and even when you're experienced to have mentors and places to learn. And so we list what strategist and what mentoring room shared the idea with the Off the Charts team. And that's one of the other big things that we're doing with the new Off the Charts is that we're going to have increased collaboration from all members of the T3 Live team. So that it's not just Scott Redler, it's not just his team putting together the ideas, but you have a diverse set of mentors and contributors coming up with the ideas. We think it'll add some perspective, add some new good ideas that might not have been shared before, and we think it'll be a big positive. As you can see, the look of the charts is a little bit different. We're going to have less annotation, more simplistic chart setups with stops, entries, and targets. And then the commentary goes below the charts. We're trying to keep the commentary more concise and maintain a very objective approach to the analysis. As you can see, more of the ideas here. AMAT, which was shared as Mark Sperling's Trade Idea of the Week yesterday. Just some some slight changes to the newsletter, but things that I think will make a really big difference. And we're also adding Sunday night delivery to the newsletter. No extra charge for the newsletter because of that. And we just want to give you a great game plan to start every week with. And I know we talk about in the morning call some stocks that have been listed on Off the Charts recently. So now we can go ahead and jump into the solars.
Definitely. All right, sounds good. Let's talk Solar City, which we know had a big jump on Friday after boosting its outlook, and this has helped provide some momentum to the group. It did see some nice consolidation yesterday, so overall some pretty healthy behavior there. Yeah,
big 23% jump on Friday for Solar City. And after such a big jump, yes, it could lead to more upside, but one of the big things you do is you turn to other stocks in the sector for potential sector sympathy. So after a big jump like that on revised guidance, that's a positive sign for the solar industry. So I said, why don't you take a look at a stock like FSLR? FSLR is the biggest name in the solar group. Yesterday showed some really nice strength, pushed above its 8-day moving average. The pivot comes into play here around 44.98, 45 level is the area to watch. And then if it breaks above that, you could see a potential gap fill and beyond. I think I'm bullish on FSLR here after that big move in Solar City.
And we've got Trina Solar and Yingli Solar both holding the 8-day, so those look good too?
Yeah, I mean, those small cap solar names have held up really well as a group, but the ones that have held up best are, like you said, YGE, Yingli, and Trina Solar, TSL. Take a look at TSL. All the other small cap names like Jaso, JKS, Jinko Solar, those held their 21-day moving averages during the market turmoil, but TSL held its 8-day. Has a really nice upper level flag in place. I think this is one that could continue to be very explosive. These are highly shorted names. After that big move that you saw in Solar City, I think you could definitely see some sympathy come in here for these solar stocks like Trina Solar. I mentioned YGE, another one that during the turmoil held its 8-day moving average. Has sort of a upper level wedge pattern in place after 2 days of really wide range volatility, but one that overall is holding up extremely well.
All right, let's do some quick hits here and talk Apple. Looks like it's trying to poke through downward resistance. What do you think of the levels to watch with Apple?
This is another stock we've been trying to be extremely patient with as the pattern has been a little bit lethargic and frustrating. When the market's been strong, Apple's been weak and vice versa. If you take a look at the chart yesterday, with 2 days of bullish price action, yes, it opened lower yesterday but broke above the previous day's high. It's now poking above this upper level wedge pattern down trend line. So I think it could get some momentum here. You got that product event October 22nd that could add some buzz.
And we've been talking about Applied Materials, AMAT, which was in Mark Sperling's Trade of the Week. This one is still one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, AMAT was mentioned on Off the Charts last week, and then we liked it so much we made it Mark Sperling's Trade Idea of the Week on Monday. And the pattern looks really great. Gap up, held the gap, formed an upper level base, allowed the short-term moving averages to play catch up, now breaking above that base. Just like yesterday, we looked for momentum above the previous day's high. Do the same thing today. Yesterday's high was 18.18, so look for potential momentum above that level.
And Zillow looks like it's trying to break above its downtrend as well. Where would be a good buy price, you think?
Yeah, Zillow's a little different pattern than some of the other ones that we like to highlight. We like to highlight leaders that are trending, but Zillow has been weak over the past few weeks. We love when macro strong stocks have downtrends in place to measure potential entries, and that's what we have with Zillow. The 8-day moving average has served as a little bit of resistance over the past few sessions, but if it can break above it and break above Friday's high here of 83.07, I think Zillow could get some momentum to the upside. I know it's a stock that Mark Sperling is long, a setup he's been stalking, and one that he really likes.
And after the big move in Netflix, is there still a way to get in here right now?
Yeah, Netflix, the biggest thing I wanted to point out was that big jump on the news that it's negotiating with cable companies to list Netflix through cable boxes. Just another big development for Netflix. It's been absolutely on fire, the stock and the company, over the last year or so. Yesterday, big jump with that big short interest. When you get a big igniting move like that, shorts get scared, they're on the run, and I think you could see some more upside in Netflix, and I eventually think it will see new 52-week highs here above 334.50.
And in yesterday's morning call, we talked about some nice action in some casino stocks, but MGM has been the laggard of the group. Do you think it can play some catch up here to some of those other names?
Yeah, I'm sort of 50-50 on this, but as you said, Wynn and LVS have been strong, and you say, is MGM showing relative weakness and potentially you look to short it if the casinos get weak, or are you looking for it for a potential catch-up play? And I think the answer is you just watch the price action. So you look at the pivot from Friday's high, which was 2080. Then you talk about this other pivot here, 2090. Those are the key levels. All you got to do is maybe use the 8-day moving average as your stop, use those as your triggers, and that's your trade. You don't really look too much into the relative strength, relative weakness when it's a little bit ambiguous, but this is one that could play some catch up to the other casino names.
And I know Walter Energy, WLT, is on your radar. Does that one look like it can get a breakout soon?
It does to me. It's another one of those laggard type plays. We have all leadership type setups, and I know Mark Sperling in particular likes to play some of these laggard type setups, these highly shorted names that could squeeze and give you big percentage moves, and Walter Energy is an example of that. Zooming in on the chart, you can see it keeps trying to break above this lower level pivot here. That's around 1612. It's put in some tails, not great action, but do sort of have a descending trend line, a wedge pattern forming in the stock that if we do get it, you could play it to either side. If it breaks below, you could look to short it, but if it breaks above with that short interest, could get some momentum. You look at the weekly chart, obviously it's a lower level pattern, but a lot of room on the chart to retrace from losses over the past couple of years.
All right, well, after a choppy day of trading on Monday, what's your advice to traders heading into today?
Yeah, I think keep in mind the idea of that sell the news type scenario. Everybody's sort of been waiting for this announcement of the debt deal as a sign to buy and jump back into the market. But I think after a big 3-day move in the market, I think some of that debt deal is priced in. Most of the debt deal could be priced in. Look for a potential red dog reversal type setup if you are going to play a contrarian type trade. But in general, I think you just focus very stock specific. Don't focus too much on the indices. In off the charts, the new off the charts, one of the things we're trying to do is bring you ideas that aren't as correlated to the market. It might be a little bit more off the beaten path than those highly correlated big names. So pay attention to some of the setups we highlighted there, and that's the way we'll attack the market today.
And that's your morning call for this Tuesday. Happy trading. Have a great day.